but it is something special. And it's, I imagine, you know, playing with this stuff too. One of the things that I love about, you know, the unpredictable aspect of this, it has to be embraced by everybody watching this right now, is a little bit off center, I think, than what the normal action figure collector is. I think it's just, that's why we have a certain level that we're at. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't go ape shit nuts, but it's not down in the gutter. It appeals to creative types. It appeals to people who like to explore, to customize, to make things. You know, I'm sure half the people watching this have, you know, order food in a different way than normal. You know what I mean? It's that kind of almost left-handed style thinking. And it's this, I love that this thing would be something like I could, you know, playing with Diver, going down, and then this thing, you know, he finds this thing crushed up and it pops out, and it's there's a subconscious narrative that seems to always just find itself. Granted, you know, that narrative is coming from you, the central person, kind of going on this ship, going all the way out to the edge of the, you know, the edge of the earth. But there's also something else that we said earlier about things happening in conjunction with each other that weren't intended. But then we see it and then we capitalize on it. So it's like a gift, like you're saying, when someone sees inside something, it's not necessarily, we're not telegraphing it there's no mastermind God level thing where you're like, I've done this 8 years in advance. We play the chess game as best we can, but there's also something else pulling for us here. All of us, there is something else pulling for all of us. And it's a creative connectivity, you know, and I see it in so many different customers. I hate saying that word, but people that support what we do. So many guys take awesome photos, awesome builds, awesome paint jobs. They have something cool to say. Some of them go on to be makers. Some of them don't need to be makers. They're just as important, just supporting this and making their own thing. But this kind of thing like this, at some point down the road, we might not be able to do this like this, you know, with the way that things are. It's not some doomsday bullshit. It's just facts. It might not be as easy to do this. It's not that it's easy, but we've got a system, right? We share a system.
Right.
So I can go and get water out of the faucet. I can, you know, take a dump and flush the toilet and the house won't cave in. You know, these are things we take for granted, you know, heat, electricity, whatever. Making these figures, we establish the system and we share it. We're not weird about it. There's no secret, you know, behind the curtain. It's just hard work, honesty, and dedication to make it happen. But these things keep getting made. In Jesse's superpower, each maker has a superpower, I've noticed over time. His is just tenacity. He's creative dynamo, all of the nice things. But this is a person who never stops doing this shit. You know, and I really never stopped doing it, but he really is constantly doing shit. Constantly. It's very unusual to see somebody put that much time and effort. Nicky and Jesse meeting was the perfect combination, you know, because that's what Jesse needed. And Nicky is
it's true.
People don't understand how creative he is completely, because he makes it easy, because he's humble and because he's so charming. But that's the Starsky and Hutch situation right there. That's, you know, Luke and Bo, you know, that's it. It works great. And I like to come in as that uncle that you ask to play the cassettes, you know, and that's what we do with this shit. And I think it's important that we all kind of recognize it at least once in a while. Not all the time. You can't walk around staring at the sun, just being glad it doesn't fall on you. But you have to appreciate it once in a while, because it is very unusual, you know, especially in the oversaturation of Instagram, Facebook, and all the normal bullshit I'll rather go on about. But it gets boring. You know, it feels weird to constantly self-promote or do all this shit when there's not a whole hell of a lot behind it they haven't seen before. I like things that are unpredictable, a little bit weird, that are constant and that are deliverable in a way that's not horse shit. I've seen enough horse shit. This isn't horse shit. This is weird, sometimes bizarre, a lot of times bizarre. But think about what the hell this is. And it is because of everybody watching this and people who aren't giving shit enough to supply this, you know. And Jesse's the person who's trying to go to make every one of these figures something important, I have not seen anything in the development stage of this dialed in once. And if I did, you know, we would go at it over it, but I haven't had to do that. Not with this. We butt heads all the time. All the time we butt heads, you know, but we're brothers on this. And I aggravate all the makers. Yeah, I do, you know, because I see certain things only because I've been doing it for a long time. But I'm inspired by all this stuff too. You know, seeing Jesse pushing it to make more figures made me also want to push it a little bit more too. And the pandemic, of course, you know, makes you feel like you better get some shit done before, you know, you do get caved in on. But I think it is something special, you know, and you know, I'm gonna harangue about it for 20 fucking minutes, but it's something to celebrate too, because this is the third. Granted, we're online with this Toy Pizza Con, but it's really something that it came from nothing. It came from nothing. You know, I met Jesse. He was, I think, for some reason.